Hello friends. Now in this presentation, we are going to discuss about Workmen's Compensation Act 1923, which is under Safety, Health and Environment legislation. This act, that is from 1923 and came into force from 1/7/1924. So it came into force from 1st July 1924, and it was lastly amended by the Act of 46 of 2000, and it is with effective from the 8th December 2000. Now we are going to discuss only the summary, that is how many sections are there, how many schedules are there, how many chapters are there, and the important sections and the important concepts from the safety officer's point of view, that is going to discuss only. So rather than detailed explanation about all these sections, I am going to discuss on focus only on the important sections. So it has 4 chapters, 36 sections and 4 schedules. Chapter 1 is related to the preliminary, that is short title, extent and commencement and definitions. Chapter 2 is workmen's compensation, that is related to the employer's liability for compensation, amount of compensation, compensation to be paid when due to the penalty for default, etc. Then chapter 3 is related to the commissioners and chapter 4 is related to the rules. So from the safety officer point of view, the first and second chapters are mostly important. Then the schedules are 4. So schedule 1 is related to the list of injuries. Schedule 2 is related to the list of persons who subject to the provisions of section 2LN are included in the definition of workmen. Then schedule 3 is related to the list of occupational diseases. List 4, that is schedule 4, is related to the factors for working out lump sum equivalent of compensation amount in case of permanent disablement and death. So these are the main 4 schedules, 36 sections and 4 chapters. So this act is made to provide compensation for accidental injury to the workmen. So the main objective is to give the compensation amount for accidental injury to the workmen. Under section 4, while calculating this compensation amount, maximum limit of monthly wages to be considered as 4,000. If monthly wages exceeds 4,000, so monthly wages should be considered as 4,000 in with respect to the section 4. This act extends to the whole of India, and a list of dependents is given under section 2(1)(d). So what exactly the dependent is? So all the list is given under the sections. So let us discuss one by one the important sections. So this is a definition that is related to the section 2. So there are various definitions which are provided under this Workmen Compensation Act. So some of the definitions are the workmen, that includes employee working in railway, ship, aircraft, motor vehicle, etc. So there are near about 48 categories which are mentioned, which is under schedule 2. So all these categories are nothing but the workmen. So workmen is defined with respect to the listings. So all these 48 categories are nothing but the workmen. Then wages excludes the traveling allowance or concession, special expenses and contribution towards any pension or PP. So these are also clearly mentioned. So other than the traveling allowance or the concession or the special expenses, all the things are covered under the wages. Then partial disablement, that is temporary or permanent, and total disablement, that is temporary or permanent, are defined as same in the Employee State Insurance Act or Workmen Compensation Act. So these concepts are one and the same, whether it is mentioned in the IS 3786, whether it is mentioned in the ESI Act, whether it is mentioned in the Workmen Compensation Act. So partial disablement is the body part which is disabled, and if it is of temporary nature, then it is called as temporary partial disablement. If a body part is permanently disabled, then it is called as permanent partial disablement. So if one hand or one finger or one thumb is temporary disabled, then it is temporary partial disablement case. If the one hand is completely isolated from the body, means it is cut and it is permanently damaged, then that case is permanent partial disablement. So likewise, if there is a combination like 100% disablement case, like one hand, one leg, two hands or two legs, or a body part which can be clearly gives us the idea that it is 100% disablement case, then it is called as total disablement. If it is of temporary nature, again that is a temporary total disablement, and if it is of permanent nature, then it is called as permanent total disablement. So there are various definitions other than these are included, like commissioner, compensation, then dependent, then employer, managing agent, minor, prescribed, qualified medical practitioner, seaman, etc. So there are variety of definitions. Most of the wordings or the terminologies we are knowing about these, and the additional only that is like workmen, wages and disablement are the important definition. That is why I have included in this slide. Then employer's liability, that is section 3. So employer's liability for the compensation. So he is liable to pay compensation if accident arise out of and in course of employment. So while employing, while in the case of employment only, the compensation is liable to that employer's liability for compensation criteria. That is section 3. So he is not liable for injury if disablement lasts less than 3 days. So these are the cases where the compensation is not liable. Second case, if the workman takes drink or drugs. So it is drink case or drug case, then the compensation is not liable. Willfully disobeys any order or a rule of safety. So whatever the rules are prescribed by that company, by the government, and if it is a disobey case, then the compensation is not liable. Willfully removes or disregards any safety guards or device provided for his safety, then also this compensation is not liable. But there is an exception case, that is he is liable even under such conditions if injury results in the death or permanent total disablement. So in case if he may disobeys the order or rule, or he may removes the disregards any safety guards, etc., but the death occurs, the fatality case is there, or permanent total disablement case is there, then the compensation is liable. If a workman contracts any occupational diseases in part A of schedule 3 or in part B of schedule 3, if he is in the continuous service of more than 6 months, or in part C of schedule 3, if he is in the service of one or more employers for such continuous period as may be specified, it shall be deemed to be an injury by accident arisen out of and in course of employment and makes the employers liable for the compensation. The disease should be directly attributable to his employment. So these are some of the cases which is depend on the list of occupational diseases which is mentioned under Schedule 3. So I will give you just a brief idea what exactly the list of occupational diseases are and what is Part A, Part B and Part C. So Schedule 3 is with reference to the Section 3, that is list of occupational diseases. The occupational diseases under Part A, for example, the first number is infectious and parasitic diseases contracted in an occupations where there is a particular risk of contaminations. So if there is a parasitic diseases or infectious diseases directly contracted in an occupation, then the employment, under the employment column, all work involving exposure to the health or laboratory work, all work involving exposure to the veterinary work, work relating to the handling animals, animal carcasses, part of such carcasses or merchandise which may have been contaminated by animals or animal carcasses, other work carrying a particular risk of contamination. So this is one of the case of Part A. So what exactly the part is? So this is the one of the example. So animal or animal carcasses related work, and if it is infection is there to that person, then the compensation is liable. So likewise, there are different cases. Diseases caused by work in compressed air, diseases caused by lead or its toxic components, then poisoning by nitrous fumes, poisoning by organophosphorus compounds, etc. So all these things are listed in the Part A. Under Part B of this schedule, disease caused by phosphorus or its toxic compound. Then disease caused by mercury or its toxic compound. Disease caused by benzene or its toxic homologous. Then disease caused by nitro and amino toxic derivatives of benzene or its homologous. Disease caused by chromium or its toxic compound. Disease caused by arsenic and its toxic compound, radioactive substances, ionic radiations, then different products. This is caused by toxic halogen derivatives, then carbon disulfide, infrared radiations, manganese, then physical and chemical or biological agents, which are not included in the other items, hearing impairment, poisoning by dinitrophenol, then diseases by beryllium, cadmium, asthma, fluorine, nitroglycerin, nitro acids, asphyxiants, etc. So all these are listed in the Part B. So in Part B of Schedule 3, if he is in the continuous service of more than 6 months and if the disease caused due to these things which is listed in the Part B, then the compensation is liable. Then under Part C, the pneumoconiosis. Pneumoconiosis means the disease which is related to the lungs. Then sclerogenic mineral dust, that is silicosis, anthrosilicosis, asbestosis. So whatever the material like silicons, asbestos, etc., if you are using in that employment and if the disease is caused, then again the compensation is liable. If the service of one or more employers for a particular continuous period. Other diseases are bagacious, then bronchophole, then extrinsic allergic alveolitis, then pulmonary diseases, acute pulmonary edema, etc. So these are the different Part C diseases. So Part A, Part B, and Part C diseases are clearly mentioned under this Schedule 3. So with reference to this Section 3, we have to decide whether the compensation is liable or not, and then we can calculate how much compensation is there. So if a workman claims or agrees to take compensation under this act, he is sued for damages in a civil court not maintainable with reference to this Section 3 and subsection 5. Then Section 4 is related to the amount of compensation. So how much amount should be there? So in case of death, 50% of monthly wages multiplying by the relevant factor based on age from Schedule 4 or rupees 80,000, whichever is more. So that is again, this compensation is depend on the age for the case of death. Suppose the age is 18, then the multiplying factor is 226.38. So that is the minimum criteria normally 18 years age. And if the age is 40, then the compensation factor is, or the relevant factor is 184.17. So depending on the age, we have to refer that Schedule 4, and on the basis of this Schedule 4, we have to put this relevant factor into 50% of monthly wages, and after calculation, if we get the less amount than the 80,000, then that should be given. If it is 80,000 is the maximum limit, then 80,000 should be considered for the compensation. Then likewise, if the injury is a permanent total disablement case, then the 60% of monthly wages into relevant factor from Schedule 4 and or rupees 90,000, whichever is more. Then for the permanent partial disablement case, for injury in Part 2 of Schedule 1, such percent of compensation payable in terms of above, as that is the case of B, permanent total disablement, as percent of loss of earning capacity mentioned in the column 3. If the for injury not specified in Schedule 1, then such percentage of compensation payable in terms of B above as proportionate to the loss of earning capacity in permanent nature. So certified by the medical practitioner. So whether it is a disablement case, whether it is a partial disablement case, whether it is a permanent partial disablement case, that should be certified by the medical practitioner, and on the basis of that only, we have to give the compensation with reference to this Section 4C12 category. Then D category is there, that is type of injury. If it is temporary disablement case, that may be a total or partial, half monthly payment of the sum equivalent to partial, that is 25% of monthly wages till the ceasing of the disablement, or 5 years, whichever is shorter. So if this is the partial disablement case, and if it is going to cover within 2 years, then we have to consider that period. If it is more than 5 years, then we have to consider 5 years. That is the maximum case. And the equivalent payment is half monthly payment of the sum equivalent to 25% of the monthly wages. So these are the different guidelines given for the amount of compensation with reference to the Section 4. In case of death, the funeral expenditures are also given under this act. That is rupees 2,500 shall be deposited with the commissioner. Now this commissioner means it is a Workmen Compensation Act commissioner. The maximum limit of monthly wages 4,000 in above calculations, and comparing the Schedule 1 and 3 of this act, Schedule 2 and 3 of Employee State Insurance Act, and the schedule of the person Injuries Compensation Insurance Act 1963, they seems to be similar. So if there is a beneficial amount with reference to the ESI Act or the Compensation Insurance Act, that is Personal Injuries Act 1963, so whichever is the more amount, that should be given to that person. Then penalty for the late payment. In case if the compensation is late by the commissioner, by the employer, then at approximately 12% interest, that is simple interest, should be given to that person. If again the delay is not justified, then penalty up to 50% of the compensation is also payable. A show cause notice to the employer is necessary before passing an order for the penalty. So we have to give first the notice, that is show cause notice, why you are not giving the compensation within this period. If he is ready, then there is a not necessary action for this 12% simple interest or the 50% penalty. Then the interest and penalty both shall be paid to the workman or his dependent as the case may be. So when the fatality is there, then the dependent definition is coming to exist. So whoever is the dependent, so whatever the penalties and the interest amount should be given to that dependent only. Then section 8 is related to the distribution of compensation. So compensation payable in case of death, payable to woman or legally disabled, that is example minor, person shall be paid through commissioner, that is court commissioner only and not directly. So direct payment shall not be deemed compensation, because we have to cross verify the conditions, we have to cross verify the compensation amount, the relevant factor with respect to that age, etc. And then only we have to give that compensation to that person, whoever may be the dependent or the person itself. An employer can give advance up to 3 months wages, which is deductible, and the commissioner shall repay it to the employer. The commissioner shall give receipt to the depositor, notice to the dependents, make inquiry, and if satisfied that no dependent exists, then he shall repay the balance to the employer. So if there is no dependent, then the amount can be repaid to the employer. If the dependent is woman or legally not eligible, the same may be investigated and mode of payment during non-eligibility may be directed for the welfare. So that is depending on the condition whether to repay this compensation amount to the employer or to the welfare amount. In other cases, direct payment is possible. The commissioner has power to change or amend his order for investment if satisfied with the reasons. So all the authorities are given to the commissioner only. So depending on the conditions, depending on the detailed study of that case, then the commissioner is going to decide how to pay. Then the other parts or the elements of these workmen compensation acts are like method of calculating monthly wages is prescribed under section 5. Half monthly payment can be reviewed under section 6 and converted into lump sum amount into under section 7. Then compensation is protected and can't be assigned, attached or charged with reference to the section 9. Then claim is to be made within 2 years with reference to the section 10. They may be justified. If it is a valid reason, then only that is acceptable. A commissioner can directly send a notice to an employer to furnish within 30 days information of death of his workman or his explanation with reference to the section 10A. And reports of fatal accidents or serious bodily injury shall be given to the commissioner within 7 days with reference to the section 10B. An injured workman will not refuse to undergo medical examination, otherwise his compensation may be suspended for the period of his refusal or for the period of his return if he has left the premises without examination. So in case of contract labor, the principal employer is liable if the contractor fails to pay the compensation. So that is mentioned under the section 12. Where any employer has entered into the contract with any insurer for the liability to a workman, the insurer will pay to the workman as per the liability accepted. The workman has to give the notice to the insurer for his claim as soon as he becomes aware that his employer has become unable to pay, which is given under section 14. And the compensation can become first charge on asset transferred by the employer, that is given under section 14A. Prescribed returns is to be sent to the authority under section 16. And any contract or agreement of relinquishing right of compensation is null and void under section 17. So maximum penalty for offenses is 5,000. Limit of filing complaint is 6 months, and sanction of commissioner is necessary for the prosecutions. Then the special provisions are made for other workmen. Then the chapter 3 is from section 19 to 31, which is regarding the commissioners, their appointments, venues, power, appearances of parties, evidence, registration of agreements, appeals, recovery, etc. So chapter 3 is related to mainly focusing on the commissioners. Then chapter 4, that is from section 32 to 36, gives rule making powers to the state and the procedures are explained. So chapter 1 and chapter 2 is mainly important points from the safety officer point of view, and chapter 3 gives us the idea regarding the commissioners and their details, and chapter 4 for giving the rule making power to the states. So these are the 36 sections, chapter 4 and 4 schedules under this Workmen Compensation Act 1923. Thank you.